Clinton Midas.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Mill Creek Crossing Connection, brought to you by Dan Dolan and Dan Dolan Homes. In studio today, we have Dwight Wheelan. And good morning, Dwight.
Good morning. You know, your announcement there says Wheelan Deal is a public service announcement. We moved here in 1978, and our realtor told us about Wheel and Deal, and you had a wheel that you spun and people could win something. I forget what that was called. But anyway, that was the two things she pointed out to us about KROS. It was Wheel and Deal and that wheel that you would spin.
Yeah, it was called the Money Wheel, I think, at the time.
Okay.
And you can see it's right back there.
Yeah.
We didn't actually have a physical wheel when I started working here, so I had to do that promotion, and so I would say it's time for the Money Wheel, and people would call in, and we had all the winning totals on a cart. So you randomly picked a cart and stuck it in the machine and hit play, and then it would go click, 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 and it landed at.
Okay.
So yeah, people would always ask. They say, "Do you actually have a physical wheel that you spin?"
That's the advantage of radio over television.
So I'm trying to think what year it was, but our old engineer, Bill Scott, who this building's named after, built one for us. So we actually have a physical wheel that we spin now.
Well, I remember that. She was a real nice lady, and she was trying to convince us we ought to move to Clinton.
All because of Wheel and Deal and the Money Wheel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we've got a nice morning this morning. Anyway, it's hard to tell whether it's fog or whether it's smoke. But,
Yeah, I know.
But whichever it is, the sun will burn the fog off, but it won't deal with the smoke.
No, not at all. Well, you know, if you're in a situation where you're not bothered by it, or maybe just, you know, be out in a limited way, you can come out and look at the homes there at Dan Dolan Homes and Mill Creek Crossing, of course. The model home still available for folks to come and take a look.
You bet. Mary will be there today from 11 to 1, as she is every Tuesday through Saturday. And also can see the homes by appointment or a phone call. Just drop by and knock on the door and say, "I'd like to see the model home." And Mary or I will be glad to open it and let people look around.
And one of the great things about it, and we mentioned this last week when Dan was in, that you actually sold the home,
Yes.
but can still show it until it actually closes.
That's right. Yes, it has a new owner, a couple that are really looking forward to moving out there. A home that is really needed because of physical conditions of the man.
Oh, okay.
He'll be able to navigate through the house, nice wide doors with his walker, and I'm sure he'll be in a walker by the time it closes and they get to move out there. But he'll be able to navigate through the house without any obstructions, and he's looking forward to that. He hasn't seen the home, but he's seen videos and pictures, and is really looking forward to moving out there and being a part of the Mill Creek Crossing neighborhood.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, that he hasn't actually seen the house himself, but has seen it through videos and pictures, and that really is kind of a big change in the whole real estate market now, is that a lot of people, believe it or not, will buy a house unseen with their own eyes, but they'll do it because of that, that they can see it, the pictures, they can see the videos.
His wife has seen it and did the pictures and videos, the daughter and a granddaughter and a son-in-law. the family has looked at it, and he's confident in their judgment, and so together he and his wife decided to buy it, and are going to be a great addition to the neighborhood.
Well, I'm still old school. I think before I would make a purchase like that, I'd have to see it with my own eyes because, sometimes pictures can be a little deceiving. But of course, if it's his wife taking the pictures, they're going to be authentic.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at the pictures in a vacation guide or something and they say, oh, that villa looks so nice. And then when you get there, you go, oh, this is a dump.
not what I anticipated.
Yeah.
I've checked into motels that way in my travels.
Yeah. But no, and that's great that the way the homes are designed and built, that they can accommodate his needs like that, and that's one of the big selling points of the homes out there, isn't it?
Yeah, one Saturday, when I was up there with Mary, we had a couple come in. The lady was in a wheelchair, and she had no problem getting through the whole house and looking at it and deciding this would really be what I would hope to move into someday. I know Dan has told me several times that when he started building, he had a potential buyer that was in a wheelchair, and he asked him, he said, would you go through the house and tell me where I need to make improvements? And when he came back from going through the house, Dan asked him what he suggested, and he said, I need a little more room in the bathroom to turn around the wheelchair. So Dan added 6 inches to the width of the bathroom, and that accommodated the fellow in his chair. So one time when I was showing the houses, I had a fellow there in an electric wheelchair, and we heard him hollering, and his wife and I went into the bathroom to see where he was, and he had his wheelchair sitting in that roll-in shower. So, that's something that people really don't appreciate until they have a situation where they have to be careful getting in and out of the shower. I recently had a friend who actually fell getting out of the shower and caused his death eventually. So the roll-in shower, I think, is one of the great assets, one of the great building features in the house.
Yeah, I don't have the statistic handy, but I have heard that is one of the most dangerous parts of a home is the bathroom, getting in and out of the shower. And to have a walk-in shower, even for someone that doesn't have mobility issues, is probably a good thing.
And we see advertisements of walk-in showers and things like that, but they still have a lip of maybe 4 inches. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't take a mountain to trip a person as old as I am and sometimes as feeble. That 4-inch step is quite a bit when a person is incapacitated. So the feature that it isn't a step up at all. It's a normal step. So that's just one of the great features. The 36-inch doors is another great advantage for people that have problems getting around. No step entry, that's another great advantage. My son right now he's had foot surgery. He's on crutches, and when he was building the house, I kept telling him, get one, no step entry. Well, he has 2 steps now, and he has trouble getting in the house. Mm-hmm. So a neighbor came over and built him a handrail, and that helps him a lot. But did you ever notice kids don't listen to what Dad says?
Yeah, I know. How many times do they later in life go, you were so right?
Yeah.
But they don't at the time.
But hopefully we're going to see some dirt flying out there and digging going on Connor Court, where Dan tells me he's going to build a 3-bedroom ranch-style house. No step entry, all the same features, but it will have 3 bedrooms on the main level instead of 2.
Oh, okay.
So with that in mind, when he gets along with that one, it's my hope that he'll start digging on the last lot that's available on Garrett Avenue before he extends some street, and get another model home on Garrett, which is in the association. You know, we still have lawn service and snow removal for that low price of $65 a month. That's the same price that Dan started with, and I think it was 7 or 8 when he started the subdivision, and that's what it was back then. And we've had enough new people move into the neighborhood that more income has come in, and as prices rose, we had the income to offset the price increases, still $65 a month. And that's a bargain for anybody. That's $15 to mow your yard each week. So that's a great service.
You know, it is amazing that when he first added, because I remember that Dan first started coming in here back in 07, 08.
Yeah.
And when he said it was $65 a month, at that time we said, boy, that's a really good deal. Because people are like, well, it cost me $50-$60 a mow.
Yeah.
You know, here that's for the whole month. And it's still that all these years later, when you talk about inflation and all the rising costs of things, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
I moved from an HOA that was $250 a month.
Wow.
And I thought 65 was a pretty good buy.
So for that reason alone, folks, you got to check out the Dan Dolan Homes. And again, the model home's still available until it closes. And you mention each week that about the new design. Why don't we briefly touch that again, just to let folks know that it is opened up and is slightly different?
It's a very open floor plan, and now the master bath and master bedroom and the master closet are all in a row on one side of the house. So you don't have to carry your laundry across the house anymore to get to the laundry room because it's attached to the master closet. So it's a great design, great flow, traffic flow, and people need to just drop by and look. Believe me, there's no hard selling. We want people just to look, and even if they're not a buyer, we know that they're going to tell their neighbors and their friends what a great design it is. So we're there. Mary's there from 11 to 1, Tuesday through Saturday, and the 8th of July, I believe, is the day that Mary has some light refreshments there, and she's always got something pretty good to eat. I love to go up there and just snack while we sit around and talk with people.
Well, I know when you first started doing that, I don't know how many years ago, I remember I came a couple of different times and had the light refreshments, and I enjoyed looking at the homes. And of course, at the time, it was like, well, that's years away. I'll never have to buy a home like this. I'm getting a little closer to those that time.
Yeah, it'll creep up on you.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, thanks a lot for coming in today, Dwight. I think that's going to wrap up today's Mill Creek Crossing Connection. Again, listen every Wednesday morning at this time here on KROS, brought to you by Dan Dolan and Dan Dolan Homes.
Listening to AM 1340 KROS, Clinton, Iowa.
FM 105.9.
And KROSradio.com.